bad takes, internet drama, losing debates, getting kicked out of podcasts, all things that have happened to Hasan Piker recently, as his career does seem to be in a bit of a rough spot right now. As Keemstar puts it on Twitter, Hasan Piker over the last 30 days was kicked off his podcast, got exposed for spreading fake news and getting mainstream news stories completely wrong. He lost a debate that he begged for against a drama YouTuber, Willie Mac show, which I covered, and he defended Pokemon's overpriced cookies and got bodied for it. Now, I want to talk about each of the things listed here in this tweet because each one of them is honestly worth its own video, but Keem luckily put them all right here for me so I can kind of break it up into one video. So we'll do some cool like transition slides and we'll talk about all this stuff. Also, you guys like my shirt? I think it's cool. I just got this. But yeah, so the first thing is Hasan Piker was kicked off his podcast. Now, I don't know how true it was that he was kicked off. That might be some Keemstar tabloid put in there like, oh, he was brutally kicked off his podcast. I don't know if that's true, but I do know the podcast that he had with Ethan Klein, Leftovers, which is a nightmare blunt rotation. Like, I don't know if there's people that I would want to hang out with less than those two, Ethan Klein and Hasan Piker, let alone have a podcast that I have to watch of them. It's like, I'll pass. Double it and give it to the next person, okay? Just take it away, move, go. But it is true that Hasan and Ethan Klein are no longer doing their Leftovers podcast together, and I'm gonna pull up a clip for that real quick.
People are saying rip Leftovers. Yeah, probably. Just to be honest.
We could just call it Leftovers.
Oh, that's so good. Wouldn't that be f***ed up if I was like, Leftovers is coming back?
That is right. Don't do that.
We were talking about the idea of making a cooking show. It is probably over. Just to, I guess, put it out there. People want to know. And again, I said this on the members, but I want to emphasize that me and Hasan are still friends, and this has nothing to do with Hasan.
So as you just saw from the clip, Ethan's basically saying that the podcast is done because they were talking about some more sensitive events. For some reason, these two decided to make an entire episode on the Israel-Palestine conflict, which I don't, why would you talk about that? I understand that it's like an interesting thing and it is real news and Hasan does kind of cover that, but I just, why would these people think that they have the credentials to confidently speak on like ongoing global affairs? I mean, dude, that's a recipe for disaster. And on top of that, they were going back and forth during these podcasts, arguing with each other, and people were saying like, are you guys cool? Like, the audience was feeling the secondhand embarrassment, the secondhand awkwardness, witnessing their dynamic, and Ethan saying they're still friends. That's plausible, but I don't understand, like, it's from the viewer's perspective of someone who would watch this podcast, there was a very clear tension on the show. And Hasan, frankly, was benefiting heavily from being on the podcast. Obviously, he gets a lot of views on his Twitch, and did he need this podcast for his numbers to be up? No. But the Leftovers podcast was the bridge from Ethan's audience to Hasan's audience, and there definitely was some new overlap and some new fans for Hasan that came from this podcast, and it's over now. Now, the second thing on this list here is that he got exposed for spreading fake news and getting mainstream news stories completely wrong. This I talked about in my last video on Hasan, where the whole Willie Mac show video exposed his entire, I don't even know what you'd call it, like botchery of current events, of ongoing stories, his shit reporting, etc. This is not something I feel like I need to bring up examples for, but rather one that honestly kind of goes without saying. If you want a clip of this, I guess why I just put in a clip of one of the Willie Mac show videos where Hasan is blatantly spreading misinformation.
On Twitter, a video went viral, 8 million views, showing a Palestinian kid get yelled at by Israeli police. The tweet was captioned, Ahmad was kidnapped 8 years ago when he was only 13 years old. This leaked video shows Israeli officers interrogating him. This is how Israelis treat Palestinian children. Israel kidnapped over 880 Palestinian children in 2023 only. Hasan would immediately quote tweet this saying, indefensible monsters, getting another 5 million views and over 75,000 likes. Now Hasan just made it seem like Israel kidnapped this kid for no reason. They're monsters. But if you just take 2 seconds and Google his name, you'll see that he was running around holding knives with his 15-year-old cousin. His cousin stabbed a 13-year-old Israeli boy and another 21-year-old before getting shot by a dude he also tried to stab.
And the number 3 is off of the same thing, the Willie Mac show thing, where he lost a debate that he begged for against a drama YouTuber. Now, I find it very funny, like Hasan will only debate people he believes he has a chance of winning, which is a smart strategy if you want to just, get free W's and farm clips of you looking epic. But when you do that and still lose a debate, bro, that's a huge L. That's not just a small L. L, that's a huge L. So when he went to debate Willie Mac's show, and I'm not trying to say that Willie Mac's show is not smart or isn't intelligent, but debate-wise, I don't believe Willie has the same experience as somebody like Destiny or somebody who Hasan wouldn't debate because he's afraid of them. Like, Hasan will not debate Destiny. That's a fact, okay? Pretty sure Destiny was even a banned word in Hasan's chat for a little bit. Hasan will not debate somebody who actually will destroy him. So instead, he tries to go for people when he will debate, which is very rarely because, again, he's so scared of losing, who he thinks will be an easy W. And he got destroyed by Willie Mac's show. Destiny reviewed the Willie Mac show debate, gave his commentary. I did the same thing. And bro, if you look at the like uploads of the debate on YouTube, they're all flooded with dislikes because everyone's like, dude, this guy took a huge L. On top of that, his friend was just in the in the background, just smacking the vape the whole time, being like, what are we doing here? And then number 4, I never talked about this, but this is atrocious. He defended Pokemon's overpriced cookies and got bodied for it. Bro, really? Like, okay, I saw this and I found it a little hysterical, right? His arguments against Pokemon getting criticized for her cookies was that there's an influencer tax. So when influencers make products, you should expect them to be more expensive, which I don't really understand the logic there. Like, justifying the high price of something that should not be so expensive because a famous person made it is like, that's bad. That's not justified. If anything, it should be the opposite. Like, shouldn't the people with a lot of money who make products be making cheaper products than the people with no money who need the money, so they're gonna tax it? Like, what? Like, shouldn't it be like a small business tax, not like a big influencer tax? Am I geeking? And again, if you look at this video, like the upload of when Hasan was doing this on his stream, like 14,000 dislikes to like 1,000 likes. Bodied. And on top of all this, he was doing this for an hour. This guy spent an hour of his day on his live stream, forcing his viewers, like subjecting them to Hasan's waffling about cookies. Dude, these people don't want to hear you ramble about Pokemon's cookies for an hour. Like, just say that you like Pokemon, so you're not going to criticize her, and then get out. Because that's what he did in the video. He basically said that, oh, I'm not going to criticize her, and he was criticizing Moist Critical for criticizing Pokemon because he knows that Critical and Poke have met in person. What? That does not mean you can't criticize someone if you've met them in person. That's a really strange standard to hold, and one that I think led to a lot of the dislikes on the video. Of course, a lot of those dislikes were just based on the fact that this guy spent 60 minutes defending $32 cookies. But yeah, you know, Hasan is definitely having a rough week, or a rough 30 days, honestly. And I'm glad that Willie Mac show's getting his dubs. I want Destiny to debate Hasan, but I know that won't happen. I want Hasan's takes, his bad takes, to be getting constantly under the scrutiny that they should be, especially with someone of a platform his size. This guy gets 30,000 live viewers almost every time he streams, sometimes more, sometimes less, but literally tens of thousands of people watch this guy live like zombies to their screen, glued to the blue light, just ingesting the slop takes that he's literally shoving down their throats. And when this finally, you know, this cycle seems to be put on halt and there's some backlash to the ridiculous things he's saying, I'm gonna cover it because I think this is good. I think that, you know, the tides are turning. Maybe things are, you know, what is the word? We're redoing course. I don't even know, but I think it's good. I think it's good to be seeing a change in the narrative and the way that we're looking at things, and especially with someone like Hasan who's talking about serious topics like breaking news, ongoing wars, and stuff like that. The information he spreads is very important and needs to be, you know, taken seriously and seriously criticized if it is wrong. And he'll play this card that he's just a streamer and he's not like a big news outlet who can't be criticized. But dude, I mean, I'm sorry, but you're like these people's primary source of information. I mean, a lot of people who watch you live and support you financially are going to be watching you for information. And when you're wrong, when you get called out, that needs to be discussed. So anyway, just thought I'd make this video discussing like what's been going on with Hasan. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe. See you guys later.